Okay, so today I'm going to show you some of the stuff. We haven't done gates, but we're going to just try it and see. I banged the gate into him a bunch of times and he didn't care, so sometimes that makes it easier when you're teaching him to learn how to do gates, right? See how it's banging into him? But we want that to happen because that's going to happen with somebody someday. Whoa, good boy. So, and then we want to push them in time, get them to close the gate. The steering is still coming along, and we haven't taught him to side pass yet, so that makes this much harder, but we can move his hindquarters, which helps a lot. Good boy. Okay, and then we're not perfect, but that's pretty darn good for first gate. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk around and just do some one rein stops. So we just want him to walk on a loose rein. He's going a little fast, but not bad. I'm gonna sit back, blow out, say whoa, and then do a one rein stop. And that's gonna teach him in time to listen to my seat and the whoa and to, you know, actually stop. So here we go. Whoa. So I'm gonna reach down, do a one rein stop. When you do this with gaited horse, you got to be careful. Some of them you'll make them trip and fall over. So the more wobbly they are, the more careful you got to be. So I'm not going to steer. Just going to walk off. Let him go where he wants. Now we're going to try it again. Sit back, breathe out, say whoa. There's a kid in the sandbox. Whoa. So even when you're trail running, you want to be aware of everything, so you're ready for it, because that kid in the sandbox could spook him, right? That's a weird thing. When you stand at least, 10, 20 seconds. If he walks off, you do another one rein stop. If he walks off again after that, you disengage his hindquarters a couple times. So he's enticed by the kid, and he just thought about walking off, but he didn't. Okay, yeah, good boy. All right, now we can walk off. Sit back, breathe out, whoa, and then fall. Whoa. Good boy. Hi.
Is this your little pony now?
Yeah. They keep getting smaller, which is good for me. So I steered a little bit just to get away from the kid. Okay. Whoa. So nothing happens, so one rein stop. So if I do any stops, I'm not going to do a one rein stop. I'm just going to stand there. And if I do any stops and walks off, I just do it again. So I will. Now we're going to disengage his hindquarters. And then we'll ask him to stand. Good boy. Okay, now we'll walk off. So we're going to steer a little just to get away from them. So once he goes home, you won't have to do this. This is what you go back to if he loses his whoa or he is not listening to your seat anymore. Whoa. So it's a learning tool. It's not something like you ride him around forever doing this, which I see people do. I go, no, that's the point. It's a step stool. It's like kindergarten. You don't stay in kindergarten. You move up, and then sometimes you need reminders. Okay, well. So he's curious. He likes to look around, which is good. Whoa, but he doesn't get spooky when he's looking around. So you'll hear me say, don't let them look around, this and that. This one, if he stays like this, then that's not so bad. He could look a little bit. I wouldn't be as harsh, making him keep his head straight the entire time. But I do that with the spooky ones, because the spooky ones just find things to spook at. Well. Whoa. Okay, so now we're just standing here next to the barrel on a totally loose rein. Hopefully you can see that, because I can't tell what this new camera can see. And we're just resting, taking a break. He's just hanging out, having a little snack, so he can check everything out. And we're going to go back to work in a minute. Okay, so when you do arena work, you always want to have a plan. He walked off, so I did another one, Rein stop. You want to have a plan and have in your mind what you want to accomplish that day and what you're going to do. But it could always change. Every time they walk off, you do one Rein stop and then drop the rein so they're tempted to walk off again. The only way to teach them is they make the mistake and then you show them what to do, just like humans. Here, see him walking? So one Rein stop, and then I'm disengaging his hindquarters this time because he did it 2 or 3 times. So I'm like, you can either stand or I can make you spin around in circles. You decide. So if you hold your horses all the time, that's funny, hold your horses. If you're holding them all the time, they'll never learn to control themselves. So you have to teach them to be in control of themselves so you can sit here and relax, get on with a loose rein and do things like that. But it takes time in doing this stuff over and over. So my next plan is I walk in some small circles and work on his bending. I like to make small circles in the beginning because you don't want your horse to come in and want to be go-y. So the circles keep him slow. So now I'm going to go to 2 reins. It's a short rein. Always keep your hands up in front of the horn or, you know, in front of the saddle, kind of before they're with her. So we're going to make some small or 10-meter circles around that area. And dressage people, if you're watching me, you might be like, that's not a 10-meter circle. It's just what I'm calling a 10-meter circle. Small circle, okay? So I'm working on bending him. I'm using a little bit of my inside rein, which is my left rein, so to the inside of the circle. If you don't know what inside rein is, it's the rein on the inside of the circle. And a little inside leg, so that's my left leg. And the reason they call it inside and outside is because people get confused between left and right, okay? So now I'm going to change my direction. I'm going to go to the right. So now I'm using my right rein and my right leg, which is my inside rein and my inside leg. Now your outside rein and leg, or my left side, also helps you to steer. And a lot of these horses don't know how to make circles, so they drift. So I use my inside rein and my inside leg, my right side, to help him to bend. He doesn't bend that great this direction. You might be able to see him in the shadows. Then he's drifting left, so I push my left rein and left leg against him, and I take the opposite side off to help him to stop drifting. Again, when these horses don't know much, you kind of use one side, you know, the inside, and then you use the outside. If you have all on the same time, they're like, I don't even understand any of this, so they don't know what the heck to do. So this way to the left, he bends pretty well. He doesn't drift, so I don't have to use outside rein and outside leg that much. And now when I go to the right, here he goes, he's drifting to the left, so I press my left rein and left leg against him, which is my outside rein and outside leg. Now if he really starts drifting because he wants to go to the other horse, then I might bump him a little bit hard, okay? So what I've done is I've made 2 circles and I'm hooking them together, so now I'm actually making a figure 8. So each horse I do this a different amount of times depending what they need. And remember, you always go the way they're worse more often because you're trying to make that side better. So I've done a couple figure 8s, and now what I'm going to do is circle to the right because that's his worst direction a couple of times. And then what we're going to do, he's drifting left, so left rein and left leg. So I'm going to make one more circle this direction. And then we're going to go into serpentine. So circles and serpentines are important for control. Bending the horse, steering them on the trail. Helps you get around trees, people, and you know, you have those switchbacks on the trail. Helps them be good at those switchbacks. Okay, so serpentine, you just kind of bend one direction. So to the right, right rein, right leg. And now you bend the other way, left rein, left leg. And I make it big enough that you can do this on a fire trail. Okay, you can't do this on a single track. So I've said this many times, if you watch my trail videos, I use this all the time. If a horse is barn sour, they're going home fast, I use it. If I'm riding behind somebody who's really slow, keeps me off their tail, so I use it. If the horse is looking around and being screwy or spooky, I use it. Now when I turn, I'm going to turn to the right because that's his bad direction and walk with my left rein and left leg, which isn't going so well, but we're getting there, okay? So each time we turn, I'm going to turn to the right just because I know that's his bad direction. But otherwise, you alternate which way you turn. See, now he's not bending so well to the left, so I'm going to add in a circle. He's like, what the heck is this arena work stuff about? So you got to practice this somewhere. It's hard to teach him out on the trail, but I will if we can't use the arena. So you want to practice this somewhere safe and get good at it and get your horse good at it, so when you need it, you can use it. Because again, that serpentine comes in handy many times. So now we're going to turn to the right and change our direction. So right rein, right leg. Now left rein, left leg, and I take the right side off. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So when they're drifting, I just use one side at a time. If I'm pressing with both reins and both legs, these horses that are green get confused. You can only do that on the finished horses. Okay. So there he didn't bend so well to the right, so now I'm adding a circle to the right. You got to look up and you got to sit back. If you're staring at their head, they'll drift and they'll just drag you where they want to go. Okay, so it's just like a car or a bike. You got to look up where you're going. Okay. Okay, so now I'm turning right. So right rein, right leg. Now I take that off and press my left rein right against his neck and left leg. Okay, now we're going to stop. So I'm going to sit back, breathe, say whoa. Whoa. Now see, he doesn't know how, he doesn't stop with the one rein, stops like before I'm doing it yet. So I don't expect him to do it when I do two reins either. So every time I stop here, I'm going to stop and back up unless he stops when I ask him to. But if I have to pull, then I'm going to back him up so he starts associating that whoa with backing up. So I'm going to take a break and then I'll show you some more. Okay, so now we took a little break and he's watching another pony. He's like, that guy's short like me. I'm going to have to meet him. Anyhow, so our next thing is we're going to walk around the arena and we're going to make circles and leg yield. So I'm going to walk straight out. I got my hands a little bit wide to help him to steer. So I'm not going to pull back on him if he can't steer. I'm actually going to pull out to the sides. Okay. Now he's got a nice little trail walk here. He's walking slow, which is great because they want him to walk slow and he couldn't, I guess, go slow before. So what I'm going to do is just practice at this walk because we want to make sure he can go slow. We know he can go fast just fine. There's no reason to practice that. So when you have things in the arena like barrels or jumps, it's great if you use them in your circle because it helps you to get an idea. Most people make triangles and squares and all sorts of stuff and they can't make circles well. So practice your circles. It's really good for your horses, good for their gaits because it puts lateral work in. Lateral work separates your horse's legs, and what are we trying to do when we're gaiting? Usually separating their legs, especially if they're pacing. So I made a circle. Now I'm going to go down what's called the quarter line of the arena. It's not the rail and it's not in the middle. Okay, it's in between. Now I'm going to press with my right rein against his my right rein against his neck and my right leg. I'm going to push him over. My left leg's off and my left rein is open. Okay. Now he's pulling on me, so I'm just sitting back. Now he's sped up, so I'm going to sit back and breathe. Now he slowed down. So see, one rein stops are starting to work. He's getting the idea. He just doesn't have it down pat yet. So now I have a circle down here with poles. So I might as well teach him to go over poles and pick up his feet. He's speeding up, so I'm going to sit back and breathe. You want them to learn to pay attention to your breathing. Horses are very sensitive, so you can teach them a lot of stuff. And most people teach their horses to ignore them. So you want to teach your horse to pay attention, so when you relax, they relax. That way when things are scary and you relax, even if you're faking it, they go, oh, I should just relax because that's what you told me to do. Okay. So now, again, we're going to go down the quarter line, so I'm off the rail. Somebody's pounding over there, and we're going to leg yield him over. Push him off my right leg, right rein against his neck, left rein is open. And my left leg is off, so I always keep that leg towards the rail off so I can push the horse over. So somebody's up there on my left messing around with the shavings. So I'm very aware of all my surroundings, so I'm sitting back and, if the horse takes off, I'm ready to pull. Okay, so now I'm looking around my circle. You always look ahead. Think of looking like halfway around the circle ahead. So which way are we going? We're going to the right. That's his bad direction, right? Use our energy up on his bad direction. So this is good. He's doing, yeah, good boy. So again, sneezing, blowing out, all that's a good sign of relaxation. Okay. Now I'm going to aim at this little white pony, and we're going to push him off our right leg, right rein against his neck, left rein open, left leg off. So now he's leg yielding pretty well. He's like, I got this. I'm a smart pony. I can figure this out. Okay. Let's weave.
The same way, so hold. There you go. Hold up here with your other hand. There you go.
So we just used a little bit of our serpentine to help us to get around that pony. And when you're out on the trail, you're making decisions. So I saw the pony. I don't know him. Thought I got room to go behind him, but he might kick me. So why would I do that? So don't make a bad decision. The front end of him looks safe, right? He looks quiet. But you never know, ponies can be kickers. Alright, so we're making our circle. Looking, don't look down. There's no reason to look at your horse's head. It's not going to fall off. Okay, look where you want to go. So I'm looking at these wine barrels. Wine. Now I'm blocking with my left rein and left leg because he tried to keep going to the rail. Okay, so we're going down the quarter line. We're going to leg yield. Pushing over with our right leg. Left rein's open, right rein's against his neck. Okay? Now there's a gate here, and I'm going to give him a break, but I'm not stopping at the gate because horses always want to go to the gate, so I'm going to stop up here. So I'm going to sit back, blow out. Whoa. So he stopped, and I didn't pull on him. So now we're going to take a break. So why do I want my horse to learn the word whoa? Because stuff happens, and you want many ways to be able to stop your horse. So you want to be able to stop him with your seat, your back, your hands, your breathing, your voice. Sometimes your rein breaks. Something happens, they step on it or something goofy, or you pull on it and the concho falls out and you got no rein. So if you can control your horse with your body weight, your breathing, and your voice, you have a much more likelihood of being able to stop that horse, which is good. Okay, so whoa is a very important thing. So Jesse here, which I keep calling Pony, is starting to look at the grass. He's thinking about it. So I'm going to do a turn on the forehand and go the other way because we've just been walking, so he doesn't need to rest that long. So it's going to be our left rein, left leg, and we're going to look around where we want to go. So I'm looking at a white horse to the left. Now I'm going to look for the kids in the arena. Just pushing with my left leg. So now he does a turn on the forehand very well. Again, that's important if your horse ever tries to rear, kick, bolt. You can do that turn on the forehand, also called disengage in the hindquarters. Okay, so now we're going to walk this way. And again, I'm going to ride with a little bit of a wide hand. So when I steer, I'm not pulling back my rein towards my hip, which we do in time. See the little greener? I'm just pulling out. So I'm going to do the same exact thing. So I'm just going to show you it once so you don't have to be bored and watch me do it the whole time. This stuff is very important. Many of you go, I don't ride in the arena. Well, you need to practice this and the other stuff somewhere. You can't expect your horse to gait great when he doesn't know how to bend or use his body. And you can't communicate to your horse if he doesn't understand your cues, which are your rein and your hands and your seat, and your legs, sorry, if he doesn't understand. So now I'm going to turn down the quarter line, and I'm not going to leg yield him until I get past the gate. Horses are attracted to gates, and so you never want to stop at a gate. You never want to stand there and talk to your friends at a gate because it'll make your horse want to take you out that gate. Okay, we're going to leg yield him off here. Left side, so right rein open, right leg off, and left rein against his neck, and left leg on. It's just a couple, maybe like 4 inches behind the girth, and I put my leg on and off. Every time they move over, I take my leg off because I'm releasing so they understand that's the right cue. Okay? Every time you release, your horse understands that's what they're supposed to do. So again, your horse yanks on the rein, he gets the reins out of your hands, he gets a release, he learns to yank on the reins. The horse bolts towards home, he gets to go in the stall and nobody does anything when he gets home. That's a release, so he learns to bolt. So many different things. They're doing whatever gives them that release. Okay? So going down the quarter line, after my circle, left leg on, right leg off, left rein against his neck, and right rein up. Okay, so we finished all the circles and the leg yielding. I'm giving him another break. He stopped again without me pulling on him, which was great. So what are we gonna do next? Then I'm gonna work on his gait. So I'm gonna make a circle here, going the opposite way, and I'm gonna practice his flat walk for 5 minutes. Again, I did a lot of walking, and he can now walk quite well on a loose rein and with very light contact. And he has a very mild bit. It's kind of like a saddle with a tiny little bit of a shank on it, not even much. And the curb chain is kind of loose. Now he just decided I want to leave, so what did I do? I stopped him, backed him up. I'm putting him on a loose rein again. Maybe you can see that over there. Okay, so again, I don't mind that he tempted. I don't mind that he made a mistake. He's new and he's learning, and he just has to understand that when I put you somewhere, even though you're on a loose rein, that's where you're supposed to stand and your life is good. If you walk off, I'm going to give you something not so fun to do. Okay. So now we're doing a turn on the forehand with our right rein and right leg. Good boy. So he's doing those very well. Okay. So now we're going to make a circle. We're going to make a big enough circle that he can gait around it. And which direction am I gaiting first? I'm going to his right. Okay. So when we're flat walking, we're just looking for a faster walk. And someone who doesn't want to go really fast, you don't want to make their flat walk really fast. Okay? So you just want it faster than what we're doing. Think of kind of a regular horse's extended walk. You'll kind of be moving back and forth in the saddle with their flat walk. Now he did really good till I just got right there, and then he drifted to the left. Okay? So the reason I'm staying in one area in the arena is because then I'll know what the footing is, and if the arena goes up and down, then I'll be able to figure out exactly where those parts are, and that's where I'll be half halting and slowing the horse down or speeding him up to keep him in gait. Okay? So with the flat walk, I'm going to have to keep some contact, and the only bad thing this horse is doing besides just not holding the speeds is pulling on the bit. So when he does, I just half halt, sit back, and I don't release until he stops pulling. If you release when they pull, they learn to pull. Remember, they learn from their release. Okay? So I put a little timer on. Sometimes we get talking, or I'm talking on this and I can't remember what. He's pulling on the bit, so now I'm sliding the bit because he pulled pretty hard. Now I'm sitting back because he sped up a little bit. But I put a timer on, so I'm going to flat walk him for 5 minutes. I can't get them strong at their gait if I don't know how long I'm doing it. You can count how many circles you go around the arena, and over time, you can do it that way. But you're trying to keep it consistent, and as the weeks go by, add more time so they get stronger. Okay, so now we're going out a different gate in the arena. We're going to try and open it and close it. Again, he doesn't know how to side pass yet, but he knows how to move his hindquarters, so that will help me, but it might be a little bit hard and I might have to wing sung him a bit. Go boy. So he's got a good stop. I've been leaning forward on him, so he's used to that. And again, they're motivated to get out, so usually if you're teaching gaits and you're having a problem, start with teaching them to get out of the arena. So you got to have control and look where you're going. So he did just pull on the reins. Now I'm going to use my foot and push this gate because that'll help me. Good boy. Now we're going to stop. And I'm going to push this gate back. He knows how to back up, right? But now I got to turn his hindquarter to get out of the way. So again, if he didn't know how to do that, that would be a problem. Now he's fighting me. He's like, what? Why the hell did we got to do gates? Whoa. Okay. Now we got to get over to it. Whoops, now I went too far. So again, in time, we're going to make this nice, but right now, we're just kind of winging it, seeing if he'll listen to me and I can control his body enough to get him to actually do this. Now we're going to reach. Can we reach it? And now we got to lock it. Oh. So there's grass right in front of him, and that's pony height, so that's hard. Good boy. Now I'm going to give him a reward, but I'm not going to give him the grass. I'm going to give him a cookie. Good boy. That was hard, right? Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to walk around this big pasture area and see how he does going by all these other horses and stuff. Okay? So he's good going down the hill. He controls his weight pretty well. Now over here it's a little muddy. He might slide. So we'll find out if he's a mudder. Yep, he slid. Good boy. Then he caught himself. Good job. And he stopped. Now he pulled on the reins. So I slid the bit across his tongue. I slide the bit across their tongue when they pull because it makes it uncomfortable and then they don't want to do it. Okay? But he acted like he's been in mud before because he tried to stop himself and he didn't do anything stupid. Ones who haven't been in mud lose their balance. Okay, so he's good passing all the other horses and leaving. Now for me, he's not walking too fast. Of course, I like to go faster, but I'm gonna make him go just a little slower. Good boy. Now he actually stopped. Good boy. So he's really trying to listen. Like, you want me to stop now? Good job, buddy. So when they're good, tell them they're good. Tell them they did a good job. They don't know. And then, of course, give them a release. Good boy. So he's almost doing the speed of his little flat walk in the arena, but he's small, and so when you're running with other horses, you might have to go a little bit faster. Now, I always like to give the horses motivation and, you know, a reason they should do this stuff for me. So I'm going to ride to this end of this pasture, stop, get off, and graze him, and then I'll get back on and ride back the other ones. I'm going to get off and graze him because, again, he's a pony, and I don't want to think he can just grab grass because, you know, he's so much closer to it than the big horses. Just watching something. Good boy. So he got a little fast. He didn't spook or anything, but he did get a little faster. He's looking at something, and it could be the blankets on the fence or that big blob of logs up there, because a lot of horses look at that. Okay, no, we're still going this way. So when you have one that wants to go or has been ridden fast, you don't want to ride with any leg or driving with your seat. You want to just sit there like you're sitting on a couch and stay very relaxed. Okay, so now we're going to stop them. Sit back, breathe out. Whoa. Oh, he didn't stop, so I'm going to stop him back up. Even though I'm out on the trail, it doesn't matter. Back. Now he's like, I'm on the trail. I don't know how to back up anymore. Okay. Boy. Now we're going to get off, graze him, get him used to the cars, which he seems like he doesn't care, but still. And then get back on and see how he does. Okay, so I like to make sure he can get on and off on the trail. So we grazed him. We stopped. Don't try to move me with your head. Ponies and mares are good at moving people with their heads. Okay, so we're going to get on from here. There's horses walking around up there. Trucks going by. All sorts of fun things. Oh, there's a cement truck going by. So he did good. He just took one step, so I don't get on a loose rein here when I start. I always have the rein short in case they walk away. Okay, good boy. Okay. So he's doing the same every horse does. They look around at the horses in pasture like, how'd you get that? Just like I look at the people with the big mansions and go, how'd you get that? So, right? You're like me. He's got a stolen paddock. I got a house and a yard. No mansions for us. Us horse people don't need that anyhow. We just need horses. Okay, so we're going by the other horses. I'm just trying to keep him slow. He's doing pretty good. I half halt once in a while, so he stays slow, and I'm riding with no leg because he doesn't need any leg to go, so you don't want to add any. And again, you're trying to sit here like you're sitting on a couch. You don't want to squeeze to hold on. He's looking at this log thing here. And so let's go up to it, because maybe. Yeah, you never know if something's going to jump out when you're looking at stuff, so you're trying to be careful. He's just looking at the wood, even though he's got his head to the right. He looked at it with his left eye. Now he's looking with his right eye, and he's like, I'm not afraid, and the grass is so close to my head, so I think I'll grit some. So I'm letting him eat the grass just because he went up to the scary object. Okay, now we're going to pull his head up. Okay. So I give him a cue, so he's heard me say, okay, now I'm going to push him. So if you say, you know, you tell them when they can eat grass, so they don't just think they can do it on their own, and then give them a cue, you know, when you're done eating grass. But otherwise he did well. We're walking through the mud. And they come from Kentucky and Tennessee. They usually don't care about mud and water because they've been ridden in it. We're going by the blankets, and then we have all these paddocks that are sitting here. You want to see the blanket? A lot of horses like have never had a blanket, so they don't know. He's like, no, I want the grass. There. Okay, he touched the blanket. So again, we're teaching him to try to touch things if you're afraid of it. Like clicker training. You touch it, you can have something. Okay. So again, lots of people want to try to hold on to these horses, and if they've been ridden fast, that's not a good thing, because it just makes them go faster. So you just got to sit like you're hanging out on the couch watching TV. You're just sitting totally relaxed. So overall, this little guy did great. Okay, so now we're going by a pool and the arena. Boy. So I'm letting him look because he's not being bad. Now he's thinking about the grass. So I'm like, I know you're not scared if you're thinking about grass, so let's move on. The pool's kind of gross. So he did good.